this is the Fair Haired Trilogy, and today we are reviewing Six of Crows. We are very excited. It's by Leigh Bardugo. Is that how you say her last name?
Bardugo.
Bardugo. It's a beautiful name. So we hope that you enjoy it. I'm Callie.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Lindsay. So let's start with the back of the book, shall we? Ketterdam, a bustling hub of international trade where anything can be had for the right price. And no one knows better than the criminal prodigy Kaz Brucker. Kaz is offered a chance at a deadly heist that can make him rich beyond his wildest dreams, but he can't pull it off alone. A convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Kaz's crew are the only ones who might stand between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first.
I really like that summary. That's really good. Those little one-liners about his crew.
It's the six. The Six of Crows.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, really?
It took me like halfway through the book.
I was counting them along the way.
The Crow Club, remember? They're
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, no, I had no idea where she got the name from it. I just thought it was cool.
I was like counting it along the way. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
who's going to be his team? Because there's going to be 6 of them.
No, I didn't even think about that. I do like this little art that's in the inside of some of the books. The hardbacks of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom are some of the best I've ever seen.
also these maps.
I know.
This one of the prison, not the prison, but the White Castle.
Where can I find? Oh yeah.
White Island, I mean.
Mhm.
Yeah. It also says no mourners, no funerals.
I know, I do like that.
That was great.
Somebody's got to be getting tattoos of these.
I'm sure someone has that tattoo.
Yeah, I think that it's like, because there's like socks that say like no mourners, and then on the other side it says no funerals, and like stuff like that. I know, I think it'd be cute for us to have since we love socks. Oh, y'all both wore Argyle today. And we're William Shakespeare, which is on the same island.
That works.
So what did y'all think? Spoilers after this point.
Always.
I thought it was great. I was saying before we started filming, the starting a fantasy world where you don't have any knowledge of the terms or what's going on or the cultures, the people, it can be a little bit confusing in the beginning. So I think it took me a minute to like really get into it because I had to learn all the different characters. Like it kept switching perspectives, all the new things about the culture, you know, talking about languages and, you know, different gangs that are feuding. So it took a minute to get into it, but once I did, it was so good. Like it really grabs you, and the characters are just really well done, very well developed. So
I don't know how she managed to make such distinctly different characters.
yeah,
And then
very
be
good.
able to get inside their head.
What did you think about her decision to do the split perspectives? Would you have rather it been just one, or do you feel like that really adds to it?
It needed it because the past was uncovered slowly. That's what I think.
And it helped with the decisions they made throughout the book.
How so?
Because we knew how Matthias, so we know the past between him and his thoughts about Nina and Nina's thoughts about like her life. And so then we kind of like were expecting them to kind of like betray everybody, you know, like, and because we know like how they felt about each other and how they felt about certain situations, then we understood why they made the decisions that they made. And I like that. But then like sometimes Kaz will drop like the way that he does things like are because of like what he went through when he was little, like his past with
The gloves.
and how he says multiple times if there is a deal that's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If we didn't see his perspective, we would just be like, well, he's Debbie Downer.
I feel the same way. I think that it really did add to the story. But I almost would have done it like 3 chapters of Kaz, then 3 chapters of Inej.
That's
Like I think I would have made it more than just 1 chapter each because it felt a little bit jarring to me when it was just like back to back to back. Oh, new character, and like the first chapter.
Oops.
And the first chapter is from a character that
You never see again.
you never see again. So I just, to me,
Yes.
I mean, like, it's a very unique way to do it, and I'm sure some people are really into it, but for me, I just was a little bit like, jarred with it. Like I almost felt like I had a hard time getting into one particular character because it kept switching until the end. Then when they started coming together, it was like everybody was there and you got to see every character in every chapter, and I was like, okay, I'm on board. But in that beginning, I was like, I don't know.
Now, looking back, I'm glad it was written like this, but as I was reading it, I was like, this is tough, but then I kind of liked the way that
it overlapped. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so it's almost like she had that in mind starting.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, it's going to have like 10 different starting points, but it's all going to converge.
But like we heard
Genius.
that the Black Protocol bell sound like 4 different times. Because it was like everybody's moment right when that happened, and I could really appreciate that.
And then like the bell, like the timing.
Yeah.
I loved like the chapter titles.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was so cool. The fact that she opened it up with juiced or whatever. And then like we didn't hear about that at all until later on in the book, and then we're like, oh, okay, well, we know what happened. But I think that particular chapter would have been easier if we would have read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, because we would have understood what Grisha was and like that kind of thing. But I was like, what? And then we just don't hear about them. We don't hear about anything like that happening until, like, we didn't know that was out of the ordinary, that they would act like that, that they would be so powerful or anything like that. So we're like, but then it started like coming together pretty well. So
I actually picked up this book from the library about 4 years ago.
Interesting.
And I read the first chapter and a half and I put it down.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it. It was too weird.
So whose perspective was your favorite? And whose was your least favorite?
That's a hard question.
Kaz was my favorite because I think he's the most intriguing character.
I think Kaz was my favorite perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite character was probably Matthias.
Interesting.
Well, didn't I just say that Kaz was my favorite character?
But did I
I go back and forth. I'm always like, wait, my favorite character in this moment. Like, he was my favorite perspective, like, really good perspective, but I don't know, there's something about Matthias that, like, I loved his character so much. Like, I loved that his background with, like, being, how do you say it?
I've called it a Jordan. Like, the F there, I'm like, whatever. Oh, the Jordan.
I said it with the F, like fjord, but like fjordgen. I'm gonna be honest, this is a book that's like way easier to read it in your head than like have to say the names out loud.
Say it in Audible? They said it Fjorden? I think it was Fjorden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the Fjorden. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was like a 15-hour book. I should know
You should know this.
It's like such a weird word, you know.
Wow,
I can't even remember. I think it was
book.
Fjorden. But anyway, his background with being a Fjorden, like, you know, the first scene where he's in the prison and he has to kill the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, like, what's going on? And Nina was like freaking out.
Yeah.
So it immediately like started you off with him like very, like, almost compassionate, like he has to do something awful, like, what's going on, you know? And then just him and Nina, that whole romance. Oh man, that was so good.
Nina's my
I was
favorite
so
character.
on board.
Yeah, Nina's my favorite character. But Kaz is my favorite perspective. I look forward to his the most. What about you?
I think my favorite perspective was, it's like a tie between, I don't know what I'm gonna say right now.
I feel like I know who you're gonna say, and it's just gonna like burn me up.
Inej?
No. Okay. Good. Okay.
No. Okay. It's not Inej.
What did you think she was gonna say?
Jasper.
No, I don't like him. But he's cool. I think
he was
cool.
okay.
I like Kaz, Nina, and Matthias.
My least favorite is Matthias.
Why?
Really?
I think he's so boring, and I just like cannot stand him.
He's just got like
He gets on my
internal
nerves.
conflict.
Yeah, he just gets on my nerves.
He loves her, but he can't.
I guess.
Why did he get on your nerves though? Because he was
A holy man?
He was just like,
just had an attitude.
Sacred ash tree.
yeah, and I'm like,
I saw a meme online of Matthias, and it was when they all come to get him out of the prison, and they're all like bickering amongst themselves, and it's that meme of Thor. He's like, "You humans are so petty," you know?
yeah.
When Matthias locked Nina up in that cell, and he was with Jarl Brum or whatever.
These names.
Did you think that, were you betrayed? Were we betrayed? Did you think that?
Yeah.
I thought, I was like, oh wow, what a betrayal.
So you didn't think he was lying?
Mm-mm.
I didn't either. Would have thought maybe.
I was like, oh, she's in it now. They're
No,
all gonna be in
by
prisons
hand,
except
yep.
for Kaz, and he's just gonna have to like get everybody out. What about your favorite character? Is that your favorite perspectives too?
Did I say I had a favorite character?
Mm-mm.
I don't think I
No.
have a favorite character. I don't have a favorite character.
Really?
I like them all.
Interesting. What was your favorite scene?
Sorry. You go.
Good. No, you go.
My favorite, like, past uncovering was Nina and Matthias.
Yeah,
That
that's
they
what I was
got
gonna
right.
say.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna say when he had to save her, because he saved her and then they introduced themselves.
Yeah. And then they had to, like, sleep next to each other and she was, like, sassy. And,
Yes, I laughed out loud
I
at
did
that
too.
part. That was the best. And then also Kaz's backstory with his brother. I really, really liked that. Because I think she waited until it like would hold the most punch, you know?
Mhm.
And it really did when it finally got to that point. You were like, oh, it makes so much sense. Why he had the gloves, why he's, you know, everything kind of came together and it was like, that's Kaz.
I think Kaz has some, like, PTSD
Oh yeah.
from that.
And that part where he faints in
Yes.
the thing and where he's like freaking out because he doesn't have to have his gloves and stuff. It's like such good character.
Because we didn't know that.
You did, yeah, we did.
Right, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's why when they like make him take off his gloves and no one knows why he's wearing the gloves, they're like looking at his hands.
Like,
He's
where's the
"What-"
blood?
He's like, "What'd you
Where's the
think? They were gonna have more like
right, because they
fame,
had
you know?"
so many. There were so many rumors that he let kind of like circulate about himself, so that way he really didn't have to tell anybody. The only person he had shown was Inej, and she was the only person that had seen him before them.
Right, yeah. So that part was funny. It was like, what do you think? Was I gonna have fangs or something? You know,
What are the
talons?
rings? Do we know what the ring of the scars are?
What?
Yeah, there's like rings of thin like scars on his hands. That's
What do
the
you
only.
mean? I
That's
didn't
the
read
only
that.
thing. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
But I don't know what they're from.
Why? Something related to when he was younger with his brother?
See, I don't know.
Maybe in the next one.
Maybe in the next one. I think my favorite scene was I like any time that they like make a close call and then like it still kind of doesn't work out. Like I thought she did a really good job of they're on, you know, like they're in the tank, they're on the beach, and they're like they made it, and then all of the army was there.
Yeah.
And like
How
I
you
was
getting
like,
out of this one?
right, or like they're trapped next to that tree, and then they like have the.
Yeah.
He realized that it actually was somebody standing down in there, probably talking all these years.
It was a river, remember?
But there was like a tunnel.
Oh.
There was like a tunnel, like I think that there was like a hollowed out spot where people like.
That is sick.
And I think that's what he was saying. Like, no wonder that they heard all these things, or.
Oh,
they,
I thought it was rushing water. And then they were like, you know, when you like really want to hear something and you hear like things, you can kind of like fill in the rest, you know.
Well, and that could have been it too, but there was like a hollowed out, there was people-sized tunnel down there. I thought that was interesting. That's how I interpret it, but it could be what you're saying. I liked that Inej finally got payback on the peacock. How she like stole her necklace when she wasn't.
Helene.
I know.
Yeah, that was great. And then she
It was so interesting the choice for her to make that character female. Being a, you know,
like a madam.
Yeah, like you would expect it to be a man to have that role, but no, she made that a female.
You never say anything
Because like it's like a female being like a pimp, you know, like all these women that she's, you know, selling and stuff. So interesting choice. I liked it. It was interesting.
A lot of times in like older like times, I don't know like exactly what time periods, the madams were female.
And that's what I thought of too. Because
I like that.
Yeah.
Did you like the plot or the characters better? Like
characters.
You like the characters better? I did too. I just thought that they were so well written.
They were so different.
Yes, and to do 6 different perspectives. I think you're right. Like that was incredible.
A lot of authors will write a book like this, and like you'll kind of notice like 3 of the characters are kind of say the same thing. You know what I mean? Like there was none of that in here, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and then it was very consistent through the whole book. like the way that Kaz was. That's how he was.
Yeah. Nina, how she would say things.
Yes.
I've listened to it on Audible, and so every character had a different voice. So like when a chapter would change, it would be a different voice.
Oh.
And I kind of associated that voice with that character.
Right.
The voice of Kaz was so raspy, very deep and raspy. Jasper's voice, it was like an African American voice. It was very like soulful. But it may have been the same girl, who did both Nina and Inej. But she did a really great job.
Did she change like her inflections and stuff?
Yeah, like they always do that. Like when they're, because even if it was like Inej's perspective, you would still have to do the voice of Kaz. You know, so like they would still have to like modify their voice.
Hard, I bet.
So like that, like they must have had to all work together, because that's a hard job. But they did a great job. Like, recommend to anybody if you want to go on Audible and listen to it. They did a great job.
Which voice was your favorite?
Kaz.
Yeah. Yeah, I pictured Kaz as an old man until it said he was 17, and I was like, what? Like,
they're young.
I really pictured him like as a, which I guess that's why it's young adult fiction, because of their age. But yeah, I pictured him like old, with like gray.
Really?
Yeah, and like, yeah, just like an older guy.
Is it because of the cane?
Yes, and I think it was just like the way that they talked about him, because he had lived so much.
So Leigh Bardugo, do either of you follow her on Instagram?
I followed her on our Fair Haired Trilogy Instagram.
Yeah.
Follow us on Fair Haired Trilogy. I'll put the handle right here.
It wasn't until I went to her Instagram that I saw that she has a cane. So she talks about Kaz, and she says, I based him off of myself, that I need a cane.
What?
So she gave him a cane because of that. She has some sort of something where she has chronic pain and she has to use a cane.
Yes, you were telling me about that, about the bath bombs.
Yes,
she likes all the...
Yeah, because she does baths to help with pain and stuff. So yeah.
That is two authors that we have read that have chronic pain.
And who have somewhat put that into their stories. I think that's fascinating.
I mean, writing is a really good hobby if you struggle with chronic pain. You know what I mean?
Why though? Why more than like knitting or?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like running or basketball.
I wonder.
I just mean like it's so interesting that like the creative part of it is so part of not just like a sedentary hobby, but like a creative expression somehow releases pain that you feel. I don't know, that's very interesting. So
like we read and can escape. Like maybe they can write and just escape. I did not know that she had a cane. That's
And when she takes pictures, she says something like babe with mobility aid or something.
That's
really cute.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you guys like the setting of this book?
Ketterdam? Yes.
I did too.
I love that.
I feel like there's like a complete distinct, like two distinct sides. Like you get the romanticized kind of New Yorkish like vibe when it was like everybody like moving into New York, and it's like the American dream to move into New York. So then you kind of get like like just like a happy, this is the city and we're just gonna whistle and be rich and make it. And then like you get the other side, which is like the Upton Sinclair, the jungle. I don't know if y'all ever had to read that. It was disturbing, and that is the like real side about what happened when people moved over, or like and how New York City was for a long time, and it was just horrible and just disgusting. But this one I think did really well at doing both. Like Jesper loved it. Like in the way that he talks about like Ketterdam, like he loves it, and when they're gone and they're coming back, like they're excited, you know, because they're back in the city. There's like things to do, but it's still, they still don't live in the good parts.
Yeah, like Kaz's whole story, how he got tricked,
and
then he went from like doing okay.
That's what happens in the jungle. Like they're like tricked a lot because people just didn't know, and then they would just like basically take their money. They would come home from work one day and there would be somebody else living in their house.
Wow.
Yeah, it's intense. So I'm glad that that she wrote like both sides of it. You know, like they loved it, but like there was still like some hard times and stuff.
Yeah.
But did you like Ketterdam or the Ice Court better?
Ketterdam.
You did?
Yeah.
Ketterdam, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Did you say Ketterdam?
If it would have been based in, like, the majority of it would have been based in the Ice Court, I don't know.
See, I just didn't really like the Puritan's culture.
I don't either. That's why I don't like. That's why I don't like him.
But he's
that's why
like,
he gets on my nerves.
But he's different.
He's gone
he
back
breaks out of it.
from it.
Yes, maybe the next book will change my mind.
I don't like that they were like, kill the Grisha, and then they were like, let's make them our weapons and have them do all this magic for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me really upset.
Did like this book remind you of any like movies or other books you've read?
No.
It didn't?
No, it did for you?
Yes. Reminds me of Gangs of New York mixed with Ocean's 11.
I've never seen either of those.
I haven't seen Gangs of New York, but I followed it because Leonardo DiCaprio's in it.
I've seen like parts of Gangs of New York.
But you know that vibe, and I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Baz Luhrmann, did he direct it because of their costumes are so like.
Did you guys know that this is coming to Netflix?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm like, who are they going to get to play Kaz?
Not just this, but like I think the other ones too. Like the whole these ones too.
In the same series?
I think that's what I read.
This one first.
Like I think that they're doing
Makes
it
us sweat.
all together. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. This would make a great movie. I will say that. I can see it being very cinematic, like with everything she describes.
Is it a movie or a TV show?
Series.
know.
A Netflix
Is it a series? Okay.
That'll be good too, because then they can take their time with it, you know.
Yeah, maybe it could be like every episode is a different character. Ooh, that'd be cool.
That is in 6 episodes per, so it's like one
Yes.
perspective
They
per
did it
every
in
second.
Lost.
They did do that in Lost.
So it could
Yes.
work.
Yes.
They followed one character
And
every
their
episode.
backstory.
Y'all, they'll
because
have
this
to
would
do
be
it
the
like that.
backstory.
And then it was like,
They'll have to do
tonight's
it.
my character.
I know,
episode.
the
Yes.
Charlie.
That was so genius.
I know.
Yes.
Whenever there was a Charlie
I
episode.
know.
Yes, it's Charlie.
Is Charlie the one that won the lottery?
Yeah.
Okay, I liked him the best.
No, that's Claire.
That's
No,
Hugo.
I'm sorry.
Hugo. I liked Hugo.
Hugo was great.
It's been a long time since I've watched Lost.
You need to up your fandom love.
Oh, I love that show.
Charlie was a drug addict.
The drug, yes.
He loved Claire, who had that
Yes.
baby.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, yes.
The Hobbit.
Yes.
And every
straight out from
time-
The Hobbit, yeah.
And every time there was an episode, you would get the more backstory. So that was always the most
Which
exciting.
this is like the
basically the same format.
Motto. I wonder
Every
if she was a
time-
Lost fan.
when Kaz like glances at Inez and they know to get her, but then you're like, well, crap, and then it's really not his son. It's not really. I'm sorry. It's not the Param maker. It's
Right.
It's actually his son.
QA. It's not QA.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I wasn't either.
And
There was
so
a
then-
lot of things I wasn't expecting in this book that she just kind of like.
But like, Kaz is a genius.
I know. I have never read this much in my entire life.
Really?
Have you?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Really? I do this all the time.
No, I just am like, oh yeah, like, I guess me too. I haven't thought about it, but yeah.
You made me feel bad for
No.
that.
I definitely have had to, but not like young adult books.
Like for school.
Mm.
That doesn't count.
No,
I'm sorry.
it does because I have
Why?
a piece of paper that says it does, but.
Exactly.
Still in the box that it was mailed to me in,
Yeah.
it was very hard. So imagine doing this every week and it not being books you want to read.
That's worse.
Imagine it being
was-
textbooks that are like.
It was torture. Sometimes. But I love my professors, so they were cool. Shout out to you, Angie.
I was reading online that there was something really big that happened in this Grisha trilogy that they referenced in this book.
I wonder if it's the shipwreck where they think that everybody died. And then they didn't.
That would be logical.
I wonder if that affects something.
Yeah.
So did we do this wrong? Were we supposed to read these first?
you didn't have to.
A lot of people recommend it, though. I
Really?
think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm going back.
Okay.
I'm going to read them.
I thought that this one was the first one, but
Yeah, I'm in it now.
I'm in it.
If somebody's gonna write 5 books about it, 6 books about
And
it.
they're pretty big books.
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure
mean-
King of Scars is a duology.
Ooh.
I think there's going to be a second one. And I believe that there's a book of short stories. She's written a lot in this universe. Like, there's so much.
Well, it's her only universe.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you could have made it as part of Kaz's team?
No.
Me neither. Like, what would I do?
Yeah.
I thought about that the entire book. Like, there's no way I could make it.
No, like, special skill that would be
I could
useful.
cook for Nina.
Really could make her some waffles, right? Some gluten-free waffles.
So funny.
Yeah, no, I could never have made it. And I don't think that, like, right when Kaz got Uma on the boat and gouged his eye out,
Mm.
I probably would have walked off that boat. You are a crazy man.
I would have been like wilding. I would have just been like freaking out.
I could be a bookkeeper.
Why?
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Like
what
a
would y'all
money-
do in
yeah,
his?
like a
What would you do
money
in his
type of-
in his crew? If
Like
he had
when
to
he
be?
gets that 4 million Kruga or whatever, I can manage it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I literally just like would not fit in at all, so I can't even guess. I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to kill me.
I don't think that they would accept us.
You can be a teacher to Wylan for his learning
But
disabilities.
it didn't work. He hired all the best teachers.
Callie's an excellent teacher.
I
though.
have a theory. I have a theory that he actually can read,
Ooh.
and that he didn't want the businesses.
Ooh.
I don't know. That's a lot of hate to take.
I have thought maybe he can read and just like didn't want
That would
the
be
businesses.
the smartest thing
Mhm.
ever. To play dumb and then see
Mhm.
what I don't get is like he's a gifted chemist and scientist.
Mm-hmm.
So he can do numbers, but he can't do
Yeah.
something that doesn't add up.
Right. Like, how does he do formulas?
And why didn't he have his own chapter? Because he can't read.
But he's just thinking.
He doesn't have his own chapter perspective. I mean,
It would just be him thinking. That is interesting. He does have.
I've
He
read
does.
No, he
books.
doesn't.
If you could be one person in it, who would you want to be? Like, who do you think you would like want their skill or like?
Oh.
Inej.
Oh yeah, she's a bad girl.
I love that she was an acrobat.
Mm-hmm.
Turned
Spy.
Yeah, like what?
I was just about to say, well, they all go through some really terrible stuff, so I wouldn't want that. But their ability, I think Nina would be really cool.
She's a killer.
I love.
I know, but
Nina.
she can use it for good, like being able to sense in someone else. It's almost very similar to like Emerald's fracture,
Yes.
like being able to sense in somebody else, lower their blood pressure, or lower their heart rate. I think that'd be so cool. You could use it for good.
I wonder if she was inspired by this because she posted a picture of this.
That was
how-
after she wrote it, though, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Because she just posted that a little while ago, right?
And she said that there's a Netflix.
Oh,
She's
so
how I found out that
maybe
there was a
she's
Netflix.
fan.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to.
That's so cool. Okay.
Heart renders are the killers and healers are the ones that.
Because
They can't use
they're
it for
trained
good,
for battle.
right?
They're trained for
They're
battle.
trained on how to kill.
And remember, she didn't know how to.
Right, it was
a
much more
struggle.
intricate of
Right.
a process to
Because of
heal.
that Inej thing.
Yeah, which is very
God,
similar
yeah.
to like being.
Oh.
Yeah.
When Kaz carried her all the way back, I was like,
Showing some real emotion here. Yeah.
I did not like it.
I feel like I'd also like to be Inej because I would like to love Kaz. You know what I mean? Like, I just think
Yeah.
I love him so much.
I do. I really love him.
Yeah.
I
With
really love him.
boyfriend status.
Yeah. But I want his mind. He sees everything and just turns it around for his benefit somehow. It's amazing. And I just loved also the different perspectives allowed us. So like if it would have been Inej, she would have just been able to tell us that Kaz saved her out of the
Menagerie.
menagerie. But because we saw Kaz's perspective, well I guess he tells her too, but like he didn't hear her. And that's why he really saved her. Like she came up to him and she said, I can help you. But the reason that he came back for her is because she was wearing bells and he didn't hear her. And he said, and I hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Do you think they're in love? Do they love each other? Or do you think that Kaz like loves what she can do?
Yes.
Both?
No, I think that he loves what she can do.
Like, so do you think when it's
I
gonna
think
come
that
down to it, like she's his most valuable asset right now?
Right, and they even said it in the book. He said that I have gotten used to our routine.
His perspective, or does he tell her that?
His perspective.
Mm.
His perspective says I miss our routine.
And it gave him stability, I guess, that he
Yeah.
never had.
And he's like dealing with trauma,
Obviously,
you know, and so I don't know. I don't think it's love.
Do you think she loves him?
I think actually maybe let me take that back. I think it's starting love, like a little budding love.
Kaz love.
I was about to say, I think it started out with loving what she could do, and it is turning into loving her.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that Inej loves him? Is in love with him? Or what he did for her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
So you think it's like basically like love in Ketterdam?
I think it's two broken people who've kind of just like glued together to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then it's growing into.
But I think that it has the potential to grow into something really beautiful.
Do you think that Nina and Mateus will end up together?
I think what Nina and Mateus have is total true love.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think? You do?
Yeah. Like love in the purest form.
The moment that I was like, oh, I ship them so much, was that part where he's telling her in the beginning about the dreams that he's had. And he says, oh, in some of them, I'm like killing you, and some of them I'm kissing you. Like, he's just talking about like that tension of everything. And so, what I can't even remember what she says. But she's like, well, what did you do? Or something. He's like, everything.
Yeah.
It's like, it was everything, you know? Like
Yeah.
I have such polar opposite feelings towards you. It's just all converging. It's just everything. And I was like, oh, that's it. Like, I love them. Like, they have to be together. Like, I'm, rooting for it. So, yeah.
But I feel like with him, he was polar opposites and really struggling, but then he chose.
Right.
He had a moment where he chose, and now he's choosing her.
I don't know, but I do think, I wouldn't be surprised if Kaz and Inej didn't end up together. But then, like, what are they going to do? Never fall in love with anybody? Because
They might as well fall in love with each other. They're in the same, like...
Right, but then that's so sad. Because then you're like, then is it true love? I don't know. It's not like she can date somebody and get married and still work for him. Their relationship is too intimate.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like, for 7 years or whatever, no one's seen his hands except for her. And that moment when she's like, I want all of you, or
Yeah, with no armor.
with no armor, and he couldn't even tell her why he had to wear the gloves. Like, he told her the story about like what happened, but like he couldn't tell her, like, I can't physically touch anyone. But there is a part where he kind of like gets away from somebody, like they touch him early on in the book, and I was like, trauma. Like, I just knew, like, they touch him on accident, and I was like, trauma, like, because of his reaction he had.
One of my favorite quotes, which I didn't write down, but it was when Kaz said, I'm gonna botch this quote so bad. He said something to the effect of, when everyone thinks you're a monster, you don't have to do monstrous things.
Mm-hmm.
I just like really like that. Like, he had built up such a reputation.
Oh, I highlighted that too.
No way!
Yeah.
When everyone knows you're a monster, you needn't waste time doing every monstrous thing.
It makes me think of Princess Bride with the Dread Pirate Roberts. Because in the movie, it's like that person is like immortal, right? Like they've lived for so long, but it just keeps being replaced, the person.
Yeah.
And they take on the name because the name is so monstrous. They don't even have to do anything to back it up. It's just like, oh, I'm the Dread Pirate Roberts, so they believe, that's what they think of.
Also called Matthias a traitor. The buildings of that, like when he was describing the plans, I was like, I think he's a traitor. It's interesting.
And then they're like, why didn't you put that ash tree in the middle? And he was like, some things are sacred.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines too. Doesn't he say, like, I feel very sorry for you, Kaz, because there's nothing sacred in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That hit. I was like,
but yeah, and then it ended
and then
up
he
being
said, yep.
I highlighted the sensation of skin on skin set off a riot of revulsion in Kaz's head, and I said, interesting. Because I knew. I just felt like it. I liked their description: a gambler, a convict, a wayward son, a lost Grisha, a stooly girl who had become a killer, and a boy from the barrel who had become something worse. I love Nina and Inej's relationship.
Yes.
They're so cute.
I also really like that there's lots of different nations and like skin colors and stuff.
It's going to be a beautiful cast.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? Because
Very
they're
diverse.
probably all attractive because that's how they get away with things too. He had the chance to do something, and it was like to seek vengeance on Jordy or Inej, like and it says, all he could think of was Inej. She had to live. She had to. I put that love trumps vengeance in this particular instance with him, which is odd because like his whole thing is like getting Becca Rollins. Have y'all heard this quote that people like when they not no mourners, no funerals, but like this one's another really popular one. She laughed, and if he could have bottled the sound and gotten drunk on it every night, he would have.
I love that.
I love that too. I loved that.
Yeah.
Because it was very unlike him. That was probably the only thing that wasn't like him.
But it's Inej though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Because, like, like, she was the one person that was outside of his disdain, outside of the way he normally looked at the world. And, like, for someone to be, like, your comfort, that was what she was to him, so.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of like, he only felt that way about her, but, yeah. It's a beautiful quote.
Do you think they'll get the money in the end, when it's all said and done? Do you think that they'll get the money and be able to get out of Ketterdam? After Crooked Kingdom, is there any more of these?
It's a duology. I mean, I would like for them to get their money. They worked really dang hard for it.
Yeah.
But in the real world, no, I don't think so.
I don't know. I would hope so. I love how Inej, she kind of got a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she finally was like, I'm not the Wraith or the Suli girl or, you know, the, whatever she's called. And
Was she a jackal?
The Wraith.
The Lynx.
Lynx, that's what it was. I'm not any of those things anymore. I'm just Inej, and they will fear my name. Remember?
Yeah.
She was like, I'm going to get my ship. I'm going to go
track
after
down
every
the slavers.
And when she goes to Kaz and she says, this is what I want to do, didn't she say something like, oh, I expected him to laugh at it or something, but he was like, oh, well, they don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming, right? Yeah, so I hope so for that sake, because what you can, it's not just like money for money's sake, but like to want it to do something good in the world, you know? So I hope so.
But is that just getting vengeance?
No, but it's like, it's saving the people though, too.
You really think that?
Well, I think it was like, oh, I went through this, and I know what it's like. I want to save people from that fate that I endured. You know? So yeah, it's like revenge. Like, oh yeah, I was wronged, but I think it is like the slaves.
Do you think it was right for Cass to stay with me?
I don't know.
After hearing that?
It's tough. It's a tough one. If you love them, you gotta let them go.
Why?
I do think it was wrong for him to say it.
Do you think it was wrong for him to say it? I knew you were going to say that.
What do you think?
I think it was right. Because if anything, she can turn it down. But at least what he wanted was shown. So he didn't have to live his whole life thinking, what if I had just said?
That's true.
Because also people say things and then they have like heart desires that they don't say too. So, you know, like maybe she was just dreaming about that, like ENFPs do. And then she really just wanted to stay with Kaz. And so if he never said it, she'd go off and do the dream. But if he did say it, then she'd be like, yes.
Yeah. I'm going to look up to see if anybody's predicted what their MBTI, what their personality traits are.
Ooh, let's do that real quick.
I want to...
Kaz Brecker. E?
It's hard. I think he's an I.
Fictional characters are really hard to type, but...
Okay, Grishaverse, Six of Crows and Grishaverse, so I don't care about them, but I do want to know. Okay, yes.
He's an I?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's an I. ISTP.
ISTJ.
INTJ.
I was almost going to say N because of the way that he made his plans was very like dreaming and intuitive and like the future oriented, you know what I mean?
That's why I gave him the J, because I was like, well, he's very methodical, like when his planning and
he's
stuff.
Smart. He's just like
You glance at Nina's. I don't know where she is on the list, but can you look at hers without looking at the rest of them? Okay, and then we'll guess what Nina's is.
Wait.
Nina?
Okay.
Yeah. And then you look at one of the names and we'll try to guess.
Okay.
Yeah, Nina. I think she's an ENFP.
I think she's an ENFP as well.
It's an ESFJ.
Oh, what?
ESFJ?
I don't know an
I think that's wrong.
Yeah, where does this come from?
Google. ESF. The F is totally right for her.
I guess sensing. I guess she would be a sensing person.
ES.
Over intuitive.
Yeah, I actually, well, wait, what did you say?
ENFP.
And what is she?
ESFJ.
I actually think that she would be an ENFJ.
See, I think she'd be sensing because she can literally, that's her magic.
Oh.
And just tell us what the name is on the top of the list.
It's hard. Inej.
Oh, great. That's the one I can't figure out. Do you think I?
Yes.
I think that these are wrong.
What it P? I think is the last one.
INFP. Yeah, INFP.
Is that yours too?
Mm-hmm.
It's wrong.
But then that would make her me, and I don't think we have anything.
ISFP.
Ooh, interesting.
That's
it's Goodreads. So it's gotta be semi-legit, right?
I don't know.
That's always the one that I have a hard time guessing people on.
Why?
Because
mine. He's an INFP.
Is there any ENFPs in there?
I think that the SN.
Jasper?
He's ESFP.
Oh, cool.
Hey guys, we hope you really enjoyed our book discussion on A Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Make sure you guys drop a comment on what you guys thought about this great book. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye!
You don't have to be smart. No need to dress up for me to see.